Some funny stuff right there.
Hey,
Look at it,
Leroy.
He's just shaking his head.
Let's go.
Like, what
Let's
is
come
this?
on up in here. Get you a seat.
I'm gonna need some Michigan up in here
Come on
today.
now.
Whoa, Google the Michigan.
Whoa.
Come on, I'm gonna need that
Let's
today.
go.
We don't need that.
Yes, we do.
We don't need
He's
that.
my brother today. Come on, Leroy. Good to see you, baby.
Leroy, let me tee this up. Now, we just giving them context on the situation with Deshaun Watson. Obviously, we could keep beating the dead horse and talking about what they want to do and how they want to move, but I'm going to tell you like this. This all boils down to the way the relationship put by the Players Association is with the NFL at this point in time. And I thought Jay brought up a crazy point. You got to think about it. You ain't going to hear people in other stations saying that. These are their business partners. So you're not going to get the real testament in the media. What's your thoughts on how it got to be where it was as far as the labor and why we got to where we are today?
From the beginning, when everybody was talking about what the penalty would be, I let you guys know what my biggest fear was. And my biggest fear was that with all these new CBA arrangements, with all these plans, that this situation could end up in the hands of Roger Goodell. Mm-hmm. And so with all the pomp and circumstance of we have an arbiter, we have a former judge, Sue Robinson, very respected, all these things, we end up in the same spot we have been in for years past. And that is the problem I have. This whole situation has gotten so far away from what the penalty should be for Deshaun Watson and what did Deshaun Watson do, to now it's let's make us look good. And look, I do believe that he's culpable in some in this situation. I do believe that he should have been more careful. And he is a person that is supposed to lead a team. He can't be in these situations. All that I agree with. Okay? But for this to now go back to Roger Goodell, it's not about the penalty. You had a damn judge. Somebody who does this for a living. Somebody who read all the evidence, who's been reading evidence for 20, 30 years. Determine what the penalty should be. And it wasn't good enough. Now, I don't know how we ended up here. And I heard you guys talking about the power that the NFL has over the players. And part of the reason is this. Of baseball, basketball, and football, football has the shortest lifespan. So the guys that might be fighting that fight in 3 or 4 years might not even be in the league. So that's a problem. When you talk about basketball, the guys that are fighting that good fight are in the league for 15 years. So you're going to outlast a lot of the people making some of these decisions. It's not like that in football. And so what has happened here is, to all you guys' point, is that you have in this hand, I don't know how long my career lasts. I got to get it when I can get it. And then you have this other side saying, I got to do something to make our situation better. And you fight with this. Because if you get to a point where you fighting for what's going to make the Players Association better and the players' situation better, you're going to have another job. And so that's hard. That's why I'm never going to tell a player that plays football what he should do or how he should handle the situation. But when you do this over and over and over again, and the CBA comes up and it comes over, and you're still going to have the same situation because that's just the way the league is. And so, you know, I understand that the NFL feels that Deshaun Watson should be punished more. Hell, Deshaun Watson thinks he should be punished less. Doesn't that make it a good deal? Neither party's happy. I mean, why do we have to go through all our resources till you get what you want? You should have just led with that and stopped all the charade. So I hope, and to Jay's point, here's why no federal judge is going to do anything. Because we have something called the CBA. They ain't going to touch that. They're not going to overturn anything in that CBA because it was collectively bargained. And so as a judge, you are playing with fire if you go in and say, I'm not going to abide by the collective bargain agreement that you guys have. That being said, that takes us to another situation. Why in the hell did we agree to this? If you knew at any point in time, it could be back into the hands of Roger Goodell. It's like when you go buy a car or something like that, and they charge you for something, and they say, it ain't gonna never happen, but we gonna put this in the contract just in case. Right? It always happens.
Leroy, can I give you a hypothetical and see if this is perhaps how this goes down? Because I don't know. I've never been in any of these negotiating sessions. I have a feeling I understand how they work. But the league, the players pick their key issues, and the league picks its key issues. Mm-hmm. And the negotiation is a give and take. And what I've seen in the history of the NFLPA, and please correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm speaking out of turn. I don't know. I've followed the negotiations over the years. But it seems to me that the Players Association is always too quick to give on key issues as long as it means they're getting more money. And sometimes in a negotiation, there's more than just the money that comes into play with all of this. And I feel like Jay, I think it was Brad or G. Bush made the point. Hey man, we're going to get 90,000. No, I'm sorry. It was Tyvis. We're going to get 90,000 added onto our contract at least because they're going to add that 17th game, and that quelled a lot of the players. Were like, oh cool, we'll take that. And then the league held tightly to what was important to it, control. And that's ultimate control. And I think that at some point for this to change, the Players Association is going to have to be led by someone who I believe truly has its best interests in mind. Let me ask you a question. Who was the union head when you played?
Gene Upshaw.
Okay. Did you ever feel as a player that something ain't right with Gene in the league? Because I talked to a lot of players, Leroy, that
there were a lot
of
situations. There were a lot of situations that presented itself that you could kind of tell that it was a give and take situation. But I think that sometimes in order to defend your clientele, you can't be friends with the enemy, right? And it doesn't mean you don't like them. It just means that as far as who I'm representing, I have to show that I am willing to get what's best for
give
them.
Me a 3 shot.
Did you feel, Leroy, that at any point Gene was making key decisions that might not necessarily be in the best interest of the Players Association, but it might have been serving the bigger purpose of harmony and unity?
Hey, Jay.
Did that ever exist?
That plays into it also. But I would say this is that you have to understand that each CBA that comes up, there is a specific thing that the players want to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So, 92, 93, or before that, it was the free agency thing.
Right.
It was getting rid of that Plan B stuff. And it just kind of went on from there. Then we had a whole nother situation that presented itself in the next CBA, and these are the sticking points at that time. So maybe you give up a little something on the other end, and you don't have to, and you get what you want. Now, you know, it's a weird situation because, you know, maybe somebody like DeMaurice Smith and the Players Association is really pushing the issue of, hey, we wouldn't be in this situation. You guys just handle your business.
Jay,
you see what I mean?
Jay, I'm going to jump in on Leroy's point here. So the relationship between the Players Association, I don't care, Leroy, or any Players Association and any league, it's incestuous by nature. You have to guard it. You have to guard against that, right? Because you can. And
if it's not, you should be raising eyebrows.
Right. You can get real. Everybody can get real chummy here, right? The union's head of the union's job is to represent its players to the fullest. We're not cousins. We not friends. We just colleagues. That's all we are. The problem is sometimes is that you can get it intertwined in such a way that you can lose your vision here. And what happens is, if your leadership, and I'm not talking about the head of the union, I'm talking about the players, because the players run the union. Be clear, they run the union. If the ones at the top of the pyramid aren't in sync, saying we're going this way, we're heading south, you're gonna have somebody always saying we're going west. Now let's go. No. The top tier people saying we're going south and we're not looking back. The others will fall in line. And be clear, everybody's not gonna make it. Well, and I feel for the dude that's 1 year, 2 year dude. We not on that.
Well, it's hard. It's hard to know who that guy is, because I would tell you that one of the Pouncey twins, once that they, you know, DeMaurice Smith came out and said that this is a great deal. We've reached some agreements on things, and I think I'm gonna encourage our players to sign it. One of the Pouncey twins definitely created a video. I'll send it to you. It's on YouTube. He came out and said that deal is BS. None of y'all young players sign that. I'm telling y'all right now. Listen to me. I want to see what's best for y'all. And he did. So everybody didn't agree with that. And I would look at him as like one of the top people.
No disrespect to the Pouncey twins. They not running this thing. It's Brady. It's them.
Well, they didn't say anything.
If I don't have Jordan, if I don't have Guy Thomas, if I don't have Magic Johnson, if I don't have Bird leading the way,
they wasn't saying that.
That's the problem.
But here's the deal. The relationship that your stars have with the rest of the league is different than the stars in the NFL have with other players. You basically only have a relationship mostly with other guys that play your position if it's quarterback, and the guys on your team. You see what I'm saying? Like it is. You're not shocked if you see Bam Adebayo working out with Donovan Mitchell. Okay?
No, but
it's not a shock.
Leroy, back to my time. Hold on. Back to my time. I disagree with that. Jordan and Thomas don't like one another. Right. They don't like one another at all. But we're gonna come together on this thing here. And then when we get this thing done, we're going back to
it's not about it's so many players in the NFL that you don't communicate with everybody.
I'm going to give y'all this, and this is why I tell somebody all the time. When I came into the game, they said, you should not talk about politics. I said, why not? Politics is part of the game. This is political in its nature right here. One of the things that you can learn from politics is getting your ducks in a row. One thing the Republican Party did years ago, they said, we got one law we want to overturn. You know what they did? They started 40 years ago, 50 years ago, and they started lining up judges. They said, I'm going to line up the judges. I'm going to get these House races. Forget about the other stuff. We're going to worry about state to state, because our goal is we're going to kick everything back to the state. And when we kick it back to the state, we got the legislators. And then guess what? You turn around 50 years ago later, people will wake up and say, how did they overturn that? That had precedent. No. They were doing that 50 years ago. For me, as an outside looking in, players union, you ain't got too much to lean on. But what you can do is you can get your ducks in a line. What do I mean by that? You can say, look, you either going to pay these dudes higher now or they going to get us later. So here's what we're going to do. We need a nest egg. We need something where we can guarantee that we can go to the young brothers in time in the future and say, hey, we got you for 2 years. We got you for 2 years if we need to go to war with this. But you got to set that up 20, 30 years in advance.
Be clear. The players are the show. I mean, they're not the total show, but they are the show. If you don't remember when they had the scabs, Jay? Remember that garbage football? We had to watch that nonsense, right?
Yeah, no one liked it.
Nobody liked it at all. So if the product moves out the way, I guarantee you'll get people to the table. Like,
it's only going to take 1 year.
But here's the deal, guys.
It's only going to take 1 year, Tyvus, I promise you.
Listen, like I told you, it was they tried to establish I told you, they took the Madden checks for years, and then they created a little fun.
They took the check.
Why does that make you laugh? They took the Madden checks for like 2 or 3 years.
They're your checks.
That's like
They're
60.
your
That was
name.
like $60,000 to hold
They're
you
using
up.
your likeness, and they're keeping
But
your money. Okay.
They not about to, these young guys is not about to forfeit. An undrafted player is not about to forfeit his $16,000 to $17,000 a week check.
They took
like
the
it
check.
can't. He's not about to afford to do that. So that it's not going to happen.
Here's the problem.
Come on, Leroy.
Tyvus, here's the other problem, is that if you look at the 32 quarterbacks in the league, most of them are company guys.
Yeah.
Right? Meaning they all about the team, the organization, and getting everybody in line.
Mm-hmm.
In order for this to happen, 5 or 6 of them quarterbacks are going to have to take a stand.
Mm-hmm.
And how they go about it and how they do it is on them. But those are the stars that you're talking about.
Yes.
Those are the guys that everybody feels they need to win a Super Bowl. So if the guys you feel you need to win a Super Bowl go to the players' reps and the players' union and DeMaurice Smith and say, hey, we need to fix this. Now we're having a whole different conversation.
Right.
Because that
Leroy.
same message that same message that the coach passed to the quarterback and the quarterback relays to the team, that same message could be from DeMaurice Smith to quarterback to the players.
Leroy, the problem with that is, I'm sure you remember this, is in the 80s and 90s. It may even still go on today. The quarterbacks had their they had their own little marketing gimmick off here to the side. So it was Marino and Esiason and Jim Kelly and John Elway. They all got together, and here's what they said. Why should we get 1/660th, however many players there are in the NFL, why should we get a sliver of the licensing pie when there's really 32 guys that are moving this machine?
Right.
So they carved out their own little gimmick. These guys are inherently selfish. I mean, forget the betterment of all of our players. They were off there on the side getting their own little gimmick going on. And I don't know, does that still happen?
That's part of the problem with the things that we're talking about. It's easy, and here's where I'm trying to be a little hesitant. Because it's easy to sit on the outside and tell you what people should do. But I've been in that situation.
Leroy froze. Let me say this until we get.
Oh, there we go. Are we back?
There you go.
So I've been in that situation, and when they that I don't know what's wrong with my internet, boys, but and they've said to me that
Dan Marino's freezing it up.
To do.
Jay.
Right, it is, right? He said, Dan Marino making you mad. He frees you up. Let me just, to Leroy, because Leroy's going to come back here in a second. Let me tell you something. Then Dan Marino and them have to be punished. Yes, they do. And who punishes them? The rest of the people in the union. You don't get out of line. We're in this together. If I'm going to bleed, you're going to bleed too. You don't get more than I get. We all in here together. And it took us a while.
And Brad,
it took us a while to get there, Jay. But when we got
you
there,
just nailed it, though, Brad. You just nailed it. The reason that your league has taken leaps and bounds, because they were way behind everybody 30 years ago.
Tell me about it.
The reason they've leaped past the NFL and leaped over the Major League Baseball is because its superstars realized that they were getting theirs. They had more than they'd ever use, but they took on a less selfish approach. And the Jordans and the Magics and the Birds and all of the superstars got together and they said, we've got to take this game into an area where the players have more of their of control over their careers.
Exactly.
Where in the NFL, that hasn't happened. It's almost like everybody is just grabbing their own piece of the pie, running back to their crib, and they're fine with that.
And that payoff that Jordan and put in is now manifesting itself in LeBron James and that group now.
But we also have to take in consideration that we cannot ignore the fact that race plays in this. For years, the NFL has been protective over the quarterback position. Y'all can play everything else, but don't get too happy with the quarterback now. And the reason that is because Jay talked about it. You got Kelly, you got Marino, you got Montana, you got all those guys. Those guys move to the other end of the spectrum, and you can see how much they make today and how much everybody else makes, and you can see where that takes place. But here's the thing. Today's a due day. I heard Patrick Mahomes say something the other day, and I said, oh, okay, Patrick. He said, I don't know what is a problem with people that want to downplay black quarterbacks, African-American quarterbacks. For this thing to go where it needs to go, you're going to need the Patrick Mahomes of the world. You are going to need the guys that's why I'm so defensive when they start putting little stuff in there about Kyler Murray don't want to study. And you don't diminish it and dumb down what I'm doing here. Mm-hmm. That's a part of the game plan here as well. But if you don't have that guy, those guys, those quarterbacks in want to fight, it's not going to work. It don't work. It just don't work.
Here's the other thing, though. In basketball, you make 90% of your money off the court. So this is not true in football. So when you talk about the Jordans, when you talk about the LeBron ain't a billionaire because he played basketball.
That's only a handful.
He don't make that much playing basketball.
That's just a handful of guys,
That's just a handful of people.
But there's always going to be the guys that we need to speak up is a handful of guys.
Most of the people are going to make their money from their paychecks, right?
Yeah.
And the select few that get a little kibbles and bits on the side, some may get a little bit more than others. It's a minuscule number. The fact of the matter is, I'll keep going back to this. It is about leadership at the top. It's about willing not to sell your next guy out, right? And we're going to go down this road together. Because once you leverage that, the NFL has to respond to that, right? If they think that you will, I tell you what, Leroy, let them all walk out the training camp today.
Well,
just the threat that no games were going on here.
Let's move the conversation
They'll
forward.
call they bluff.
Let's move it forward. What do we do now? We are here. The NFL Players Association is what it is. Leroy, what do you see as being something that moving forward the league is going to do? Do you think the Players Association has any tools in its bag to basically get anything for its client? Where do you think it goes from here?
First of all, I think the players are gonna have some questions for DeMaurice Smith.
Absolutely.
And that conversation is gonna be about the give and take of the negotiations. And if I were a player, I'd ask him this. Going into the last CBA, the issue that we had was Roger Goodell having the power of being the judge and the jury, right? That was the biggest, the biggest thing with the last CBA. It then went to, after the CBA was done, oh, we have an arbiter, there's going to be an arbiter, we're not going to have to deal with that. Then we start getting these situations. We get this situation, and I want to say, is this the first situation since the new CBA?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Then we find out that there's an appeal process, and Roger Goodell hands the appeal process, and I'm like, wait a minute. We went into this last CBA wanting to get it out of his hands, and it's not. And let's be clear, it's not so that guys don't get penalized or punished for anything that they've done. So I'm not saying that. But I am saying
here, let me jump in here because This thing has got me running. Like they say down south, this thing got me running hot. Right? I'm gonna just tell you here. So let's talk about this Players Association because we're gonna get off of this, right? Because it's irking me to the nth degree. So when I talk about leadership, and this is not to diminish any of these guys. I just told you who was at the head of the NBA Players Association, right? So we already know DeMaurice Smith is the head of the Players Association.
Yep.
But let's talk about the board, the officers. The officers are the ones that carry the weight, that lead the train forward, right?
Okay.
Let's see. The president, J.C. Treader. If I went out in the streets, nobody would know who he is, right?
They would in Cleveland.
No, only in Cleveland. Only in Cleveland. Let's go to the vice, Calais Campbell.
I know who he is.
Do you know who he is?
He's a defensive lineman. It's starting off
for
bad.
Baltimore.
Offensive lineman and defensive
Hold on,
lineman.
I'll keep
No
it.
faces.
So if we
go ahead.
If we go to the public, they're not gonna know.
They don't know.
Unless you're in that city.
They don't know.
Let me go to the next one. Austin Eckler.
Okay, that's the fantasy guy.
Keep coming.
Running back for the Chargers.
Ryan Kelly.
No glue.
Play center for the Colts.
Another center.
Alex Max.
Another center. How many centers you want?
Hold it. Jason McCourty.
He retired.
Brandon McManus.
That's the kicker for the Broncos.
Thomas Morstead.
I think he's a kicker for the Saints.
Jalen Reeves-Maben.
He got a hyphenated name. I don't know him.
Here's the first name I know.
That's all I know.
Here's the first name I know. Richard Sherman.
Hey.
All right, there we go.
And Richard
There we go.
was he's on foul.
Here, I'm man
telling
from
me to
Ohio
say that.
State. Michael Thomas is there.
Mike on the
Yes.
board.
Reading this thing here.
We making some moves.
That's it. Here. But again, when
Bucks.
I get to it, is this.
See that, Steve? Go Bucks.
I'm gonna need the filet mignon to be at the top of the ticket, right? Leading the way. Because that's the only thing the people in the office up there respect. So if Brady them not there, and I'm just saying Brady because he's Brady, right? Brady's got a responsibility to the people behind him. He getting peeled off 345 to be on TV.
And he
right?
gonna get it. He gonna get it regardless.
He gonna get it regardless.
He definitely getting it
So,
regardless.
so it don't matter what you
So
gotta have those
if
people.
you
He
don't,
could miss
if you don't,
games
if you
and
don't
be
have
fine.
Brady and Brady-like people at the top, right? Seeing what that's Leroy just said, right? That's how you have to meet that. And no disrespect to these other dudes.
Give me a Matt Ryan. Give me a Matt Ryan. Can I get Andrew Luck
You
back
need
in here?
top of the ticket.
And Brad, to your point about Tom Brady, if anybody should be leery of the way the league dispenses justice, it should be Tom Brady. He went through this with Deflategate. Remember, guys, I think everybody forgets what a big deal that was. The dude let out some air in the footballs, for crying out loud. And if you compared his stats in the first half to the second half, when the change was made, he was actually better when he was using the balls that were legal. And the league made this huge deal out of it. Oh, my God, the Patriots are cheating. The air in the football is off by 3 PSI. And most guys, when they feel it, couldn't even tell the difference. And you think that he would get out in front of this train and say, yeah, man, this whole sham of dispensing justice is a joke. We need to change that. Nothing.
Nah, because they got
Nothing
some
from
kibbles and bits. They gave him some kibbles and bits.
I mean, he on that train. Like, let's be clear. Like, come on now. You got to understand, these people go to the same cookouts, the same christenings, the same showers, the same golf outings. Like, let's be clear. He is right up underneath them. It's him, Aaron Rodgers. We need to let Aaron Rodgers stay at home. We don't want him negotiating on y'all behalf. That's not a good league.
I
taking
hear
them psychedelics
some of these
stuff.
dudes don't even have to negotiate. You just need the face and the front, right? Now, the head of the union, DeMaurice Smith, he got to do his job. See, we would relieve him of duty. He'd be relieved. I mean, after this little fiasco here goes down here, he out.
He can't get his 2.9.
Yeah,
I will say this. We'll move along. There is camp. There is some football here. We do talk football sometimes here. Leroy, I've been saying for so long, and I want to get Jay's thought on this too. These receivers, Jakeem Grant, gone for Achilles heel. They just signed him to a 3-year deal. Special teams player, punt return, kick return. You just look at the injuries that we've had so far. David Bell's been out some time. Anthony Schwartz been time. Isaiah Weston is gone for the year with ACL. Jakeem Grant is gone for a year with Achilles heel.
Mike Woods got a hamstring.
Mike Woods got a hamstring, gonna be out multiple weeks. And on top of that, Amari Cooper to miss some time. We've been sitting here. Me and Brad been trying to pound on this table for weeks. Is it just they just feel like we just not gonna do nothing, or what's the meaning behind not having no urgency about the receiver position?
Because sometimes you can't make a decision just to make a decision. It's got to be the right decision. There'll be players available. I tell you what. I don't want to suggest nothing, but I tell you who got.
Leroy don't want to suggest. But if you're gonna do it,
You're talking to me. You tell me what.
I'm gonna tell you who got a full room of receivers. The Miami Dolphins.
They sure do.
And they got guys complaining about not getting some opportunities. And hey, all it'll take is a phone call. We can work something out.
Hey, Leroy,
you know what I'm saying?
I put you in contact with AB, man. Come on now.
Hey, we got Preston Williams, right? He's been known to go ahead on and catch a ball or two. You know, y'all can't have none of the speed though. I'm more than sure they so excited. Hey, I ain't gonna lie. You know how sometimes y'all go to the first day of camp and you talk to a coach and they're excited about one thing?
Yeah.
Mike McDaniel is so excited about everybody being fast. Like, that's it. We are fast. That's all he's talking about, right? You got Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle. You got Raheem Mostert. You know,
Chase Edmonds.
all the burners. I'm talking about 4-3 guys.
Cedric Wilson.
They got
Cedric
Wilson too?
Cedric Wilson there.
Yeah. So,
Y'all need
hey,
to give up something.
hey,
Give up something.
hey, I don't want to stir nothing up, but
Y'all gotta come up
on my show, I have proposed a trade with my dear Cleveland Browns.
Oh, Lord.
What's your trade?
Now,
What's the
Come on.
trade?
we'll send you Preston Williams and a 4th rounder for Kareem Hunt.
No.
He gonna try to fleece us.
What's the fleecing of America?
We gotta play the Miami Dolphins.
Wait. Would you like to know my explanation?
Okay, please. Michigan
I
logic.
would not, from a Browns perspective,
Some team up north stuff.
if I had not seen what Dearness Johnson did last year,
Okay.
no chance. No chance.
Okay.
I love me some Kareem Hunt. Believe me when I tell you.
We can't get Cedric Wilson.
I have spent part of my career as Kareem Hunt.
Okay, right.
So I know
okay.
what he's going through also.
Right.
Okay? I understand it.
Yeah, that's true.
The Browns don't have any wide receivers, and you don't want to go into this year with Deshaun Watson
So
and no receivers.
wait a minute. So Leroy, you telling me we gonna give up one of our X factors for Preston Williams? Are you crazy?
And a 4th rounder. No, because wait, keep in mind.
we can't
Wait.
get
Hold on. The reason why you have to do it this way, is because when you bring him in, you got to give him a contract.
I'd rather take
You
the
understand what I'm
Roquan
saying?
Smith trade if that's the case.
Yeah, give me the linebacker from Chicago.
I take the Chicago linebacker and we gonna trade Kareem Hunt for 1 year.
Look, but they got a running back in Chicago.
This is the thing. You know why I don't fret about the wide receiver position? Because they got a veteran in mind, and that veteran, they done probably reached out to that veteran and said, we have interest in bringing you in. That veteran told him,
yeah, but that was my first time.
I'm not coming in for camp. I come in towards the end. I'm not doing no training camp. So they know who they want already, but they not bringing them in.
That was my first comments. Is that they not just gonna do something to do it. They probably have a plan.
Oh, they got
and
one.
it's just not done. It's just not done yet. Oh, well, yeah.
Ain't no vet doing
you
no
have
camp.
to.
I'm telling you right now.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you what.
I
I need y'all to
camp.
come back.
It was
Matter of fact,
hot.
I need we come back with another. I need you to come back with another trade, Leroy. Give me a 5th on top of that 4th and 5th. Come on back. And Jay, listen. Next time when we get you on, You need to stop having on your Emmys out there, bro. Until you get us an Emmy on this show, you can't put that one up.
Hey,
You know what? Tomorrow I'm going to bring all of them down here.
hey,
I'm going to have a whole slew
all
of them
I
back
can
here.
do-
Jay, like, don't think I just got one.
Look at that flare.
Hey, I appreciate y'all, man. We go check. Is they coming back on tomorrow or something?
Jay's back tomorrow.
Oh, Jay back tomorrow.
I'm back
Okay,
tomorrow.
Leroy,
I'm
hey,
trying
hey,
to
clap it
ease
up for
back
Leroy.
into this life thing, you know?
Get you some,
like,
get you some
wait,
good
you got
cardio
a, you
in,
got a
Jay.
softball game or something, Jay? You got a softball game, 50 and over? What are you doing?
No, you missed it at the top of the show, Leroy. So, you know when you're
it's over.
sick and you're trying to convince yourself that you're better, and then you've got a game on the horizon, you're like, yeah, I'm good, I can go. I'm in game day mode right now, okay? I'm in game day mode. I'm telling myself
Really?
I am going to pitch a game for the St. Paul Saints tonight. You know, that's one of my minor league teams.
What's your
so I'm
playlist?
trying to will my
Yeah, you up out of here. They up.
10 minutes, and I'll probably have a 911 call shortly after I do that.
You got to have a game
Whatever,
day
hey.
playlist.
I love y'all. Listen,
Whatever get you going.
Come on, G.
y'all gonna get some money, but y'all not gonna get no money right here. McNuggets, we gotta go. Get them off the sticks. Get them off the sticks. They got to go.
All right, guys.
They got to go home, but they got to get up out of here.
It's last call for alcohol, McNuggets. Let's keep it going.
Man, Leroy gave us
Time.
an arbitrage.
Yeah, go Bucks.
Go blue.
Go Bucks.
You better go. Hey, he gave
been waiting on it.
Send that trade to Lansing. Send that trade to Lansing.
I'm not getting off the line without saying go blue. You go ahead.
Mikey, kick him off, please.
We love
Get rid of that guy.
Love Jay. We have a